Welcome everybody to a new episode of the Pondcast. Today's episode is going to be Battle at the Pond, Gogoat. My name is Draco, and joining me today, once again, is Dusty Gogoat.
What's up everyone, it's Dusty Gogoat. Happy to be here.
Guren.
Hello.
And Chase.
What is up everybody? Dusty, I'd just like to welcome you to our headcanon, and I hope you enjoy it.
I'm happy to be here. Well, I'll check it out and I'll give you the final verdict.
And we chose Gogoat partially in honor of our guest today, but also because Chase had an itch, and we decided to go scratch it. For those of you who don't know, Battle at the Pond is basically how we all take the same Pokemon, and we each train our Pokemon to the way we feel would best work, and then present them to each other so we can offer each other some ideas that normally we wouldn't come up with on our own. Gogoat is a Generation 6 Pokemon, Grass type. Its weaknesses are Flying, Poison, Bug, Fire, and Ice, but it resists ground, water, grass, and electric. So it resists a lot of the common stuff. I like that. It has the ability Sap Sipper, where if it's hit with a grass attack, it not only takes no damage, but it also raises its attack by 1 stage. And its hidden ability is Grass Pelt, which increases its defense when it's battling on grass or if the move Grassy Terrain is in effect. Its base stats are 531, with hit points at 123, its attack stat at 100, its defense at 62, special attack at 97, special defense at 81, and its speed at 68. And to start us off, Chase.
Yeah, so I went, what I thought would be a bit unconventional. I turned it into a Toxic. Basically, it's got max EVs and HP, 125 in defense and 125 in special defense. The moves I've given it are Substitute, Milk Drink, Toxic, and then Solar Beam just for a stab move, because I'm all about that high damage, high risk, because it takes 2 turns. And the ability I've given it is Sap Sipper, and the item is Leftovers. Serious Nature, I just gave it just for neutral nature.
How dare you? That's disgusting, sir. I don't want to challenge that.
He's my serious toxic staller,
Just give it a modest.
Yeah, I'm digging it.
The serious
That's a cool set.
nature is for the memes, because
I think Gogoat's a very serious Pokemon, so I actually kind of like that. Respect.
I like the fact that he gave it the Sap Sister, because that immunity to grass attacks flat out makes it great for safe swapping in when you're going to be going up against a grass type. Plus the Toxic Stall is always a good go-to with a lot of the players from the generation.
I would say the only critique I'm just thinking off the top of my head right now is like in the scenario of switching into like a grass type move. A lot of grass types are also poison type, so I could see that really not being that helpful. Or like if you wanted to switch in and then Toxic Stall. I also think this isn't even, it's not even a critique of the set, it's just a critique of Gogoat in general. Grass is weak to poison, so I don't know.
Dusty, why don't you tell what's that you wanted to run with?
So I really reached into my memories. I had a couple different Go-Go sets back in Gen 6 and 7. And so what I did is I made this I made this Gogoat an Assault Vest physical attacker, but it also has healing ability. I plan to run this Pokemon alongside something that can set up Grassy Surge or Grassy Terrain. It's going to have Grassy Pelt, obviously. It's going to give it a defense boost. I gave it max attack, max special defense, and I didn't increase the HP at all because it will have, the objective of this Pokemon is to have a wider range of type coverage, but also lean into Horn Leech so it can replenish its health. I didn't invest anything in HP as to be able to pretty much heal a higher percentage of my HP every time I heal, if that makes sense. Does that make sense, guys? I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So pretty much you're mostly going to be using Horn Leech and Earthquake. Wild Charge is going to be for take it down like flying type Pokemon. You will lose a little bit of health, but it can replenish that. And then as well as Superpower is going to take out any sort of steel type threat that might wall this Pokemon, where I think Earthquake and Horn Leech takes out most other things. I also considered giving this Pokemon Facade. I feel like with Gogoat and a lot of Pokemon that heal, like the opponent's the first thing that they're going to want to do is burn you or Toxic Stall you. So I feel like Facade might also be an interesting move to have on there. The nature is Adamant.
I like this. I like where you went with it. It's kind of like, all right, so I lived in Florida for a while, and they have what they call hitchhikers. These little spiky balls that just kind of stick onto your socks and your sneakers, and just a pain in the butt to get rid of.
Yeah.
And that's definitely what I get that feeling when you're leaning into the healing aspects that you had mentioned with grassy pelt and the grassy terrain. So yeah, I can definitely, it's like, man, this thing's just, you can't get rid of it. You're you know.
One of my favorite competitive Pokemon to use in like on all gens is Assault Vest Conkeldurr, because it's got I think the set is like, it's Assault Vest, but then it's got like, it's like Ice Punch, Drain Punch, Knock Off. There's another move in there. Oh, did I say Mach Punch? Or so it's got priority. It has utility with the Knock Off. It heals itself like none other. Oh, and I think it has the Guts ability. So if you try to like Toxic Stall it or burn it, my friend always tries to burn it, and then it gets like a huge boost to its attack, and then I can just replenish all my health that I lose from the burn. It's so powerful. So I think I was trying to emulate that a little bit.
Oh, they're pretty good. That's true. And then if you're not going into like the Guts thing, you're also going with like Iron Fist too. Like maybe you can do more damage with that Drain Punch, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then you could also switch it up depending on like, you know, what the threat is. You could either do, I think, Bullet Punch or Mach Punch. So that's kind of interesting as well.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite Pokemon to use. That and Mimikyu. I was kind of trying to do that with this.
So Guren, what about you?
Honestly, like I kind of had some. Okay, at first, when I first thought about this, I kind of had something similar to like what Dusty just talked about, like having it being like defensive healer. But then I was like, no, maybe try something else, because I feel like maybe people might be going into that because it does sound really cool to use. But I just went kind of a little bit odd. First off, I went with Hasty Nature, which, you know, raises speed and lowers defense, because defense being its lowest stat, I thought, okay, maybe we can like have that be. Yeah, so like I know he doesn't have like a lot of good. His speed isn't that great, only being at 68. So then I thought, okay, let's try to max that out, see like how fast we can get this thing. I maxed out its attack stat as well with the EVs, and I just put like 4 points or the remaining points into special defense. With that, I went with the Sap Sipper ability. I gave it like some coverage moves, you know, like so the Wild Charge, I thought that was also pretty good to have, because, you know, you'll take care of like those flying types, maybe some water types depending, you know. You do have Horn Leech as well. I do think Horn Leech should be a staple on Gogoat no matter what, because you do get that healing. And then
I thought about using Giga Drain like with a special offensive Gogoat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're pretty close.
Yeah, like it's pretty close in terms of stuff too. Like that was like you know, like one of the things I wanted to put on it as well with the other.
Surf's like super powerful, right? And that would take care of fire types. I mean, water hits a lot of Pokemon anyways. So I was like, that could be kind of cool, but I mean, Giga Drain is like, you know, significantly weaker than Horn Leech. So, like, if you were to lean into the specially offensive, I don't think there's any other type coverage on the special side. I think you have, like, Hyper
it's not
Beam.
too much, I think. Yeah. Which
So.
was kind of a letdown, because I did want to try going, like, and then just for the last two moves, this one is, for the third move, I had Rock Slide, because I usually, when I do competitive battling, it's usually 2v2. So I thought about Rock Slide, because I was thinking of ways to, like, you know, just like how to get rid of fire types. Like, Surf was also another option, but then I did like Rock Slide because it also does have an extra set of coverage for like flying type Pokemon as well. Bug types as well, because they are weak to rock. And then I think also ice is also weak to rock as well. So that was also another thing I was going for. And then I think Rock Slide also has like that other secondary like effect of being able to flinch. So that's also very nice to have.
That's
and
really
then
good.
The last move set, Protect, because, you know, might as well have Protect. Otherwise, if not, I probably could substitute that for like, you know, like maybe like Earthquake, or maybe I'll put that Surf there instead. And for the item, I just went with a Life Orb. If not, if I wanted to capitalize more on its speed, I would probably put that Choice Scarf on, but I feel like I'll just give it more damage for this. And then Life Orb, well, you know, the damage you take from the recoil from it, you can just try to get back with Horn Leech if possible. And just as a side note too, in one of our previous videos, Draco was talking about Gogoating. Oddly enough, that's what I nicknamed my Gogoat on Pokemon Showdown for this video.
I like the concept of using the Life Orb with the Horn Leech, because you're going to increase the damage you're going to do with Horn Leech, which is then going to increase the healing you get, which would mitigate the damage you would take from the Life Orb. So there's a really nice, interesting cycle that you've got going on there, and I like that.
Yeah, that's really good. That's a really good point.
And then Rock Slide gives you a hell of a lot of coverage. I mean, it covers all but one of your weaknesses. The only one doesn't really affect is poison. But Flying, Ice, Bug, and Fire all take a hit on the rock type
Yeah, that's why I had like that other like for protect. Like if you really did want to get rid of like poison types, you have that earthquake. I think it learns bulldoze too. I think right. Like I think that's also another possible option you can put instead. So that'll also be good because it does lower speed as well. So you can eventually get it faster. Hopefully, maybe if you can get enough bulldozers off.
I love the poetic justice of giving Gogoat the OG like motorbike-esque Pokemon max speed, and also like Draco said, I'd also like the idea of Life Orb and Horn Leash. I think it's really solid.
So I took my Gogoat from the perspective. Originally, I was thinking, let's just lean into that awesome attack. Let's make it Assault Vest. Let's give it a whole bunch of really good coverage attacks. Lean into its stab and just make this thing a killing machine. But as one of our guests did once, they went against the grain. And so I always keep that now in the back of my head of what would be against the grain. What would be the thing that nobody sees coming when they see Gogoat? Everyone knows that Gogoat's got a really good attack power, so they'll probably be expecting a lot of attacks. I went defense. I went full on wall. So for starters, I gave it the terrain extender and the ability Grassy Pelt. And of course, in order to make sure that Grassy Pelt kicks off, give it Grassy Terrain as the first move. So from that moment forward, I'm already going to be, defensively speaking, at a much better position than a straight up attacking version of Gogoat. Then I gave it Leech Seed because taking that little chip damage coming back as health is going to help Gogoat last longer, and you combine that with the Grassy Terrain effect, which is already giving you healing. That's just going to add more hit points to you and keep you in that fight longer. I also threw in Toxic because if I'm going to keep regenerating hit points, I'm going to make sure that you don't. And with Grassy Terrain, I needed something to make sure that my opponent's hit points are going to start taking a hit, because it's going to help both of us. But at least when it comes to Toxic, the longer you're in, the more hit point damage you're going to start taking. And to round out the whole wall aspect, I went right for that stab and I gave it Horn Leech, because nothing says loving than being hit in the face with a giant horn.
Yeah, Draco, I think I made this exact same set back in Gen 6.
I maxed out its hit points, I maxed out its special defense, because those were the two parts I needed to make sure were up. And knowing that it's going to get a 50% boost on its standard defense, which is pretty high to begin with, off of Grassy Pelt with Grassy Terrain, I didn't worry too much about that. I wanted to make sure that in case I was hit with a special attack angle, that I had some protection against it. So that's kind of where I went with mine, and I gave him the impish nature to buff up his defense stat as well, to make sure that they're on even keel.
I like it. It's because like when you were talking about this thing too, right? I was like, oh man, if he brought this into a 2v2 setting, like you can think of like a couple of ways to make sure you get that Grassy Terrain out, right? Maybe if you feel like it, probably you wouldn't usually do it, but maybe you could partner up with like a Tapu Bulu where it has that automatic Grassy Terrain, or Rillaboom in this case. Well, granted, Rillaboom and Gogoat ever get into the same game together. But yeah, like Tapu Bulu, I guess, would be like the number one option. And then you would have like, or you can go with like maybe like a following Pokemon like Clefairy with Friend Guard or something, while you do set up that Grassy Terrain to like even to make sure even more, so that your Gogoat doesn't get hit at the same time while you're using Grassy Terrain. So like, and then you get that extra, Friend Guard reduced damage thing as well. So it's like,
yeah, I would definitely, my only critique would be like, I would not rely on Gogoat to set up a lot of these things that you want to set up. I would split these up throughout your team, especially the Grassy Surge, right? Like I would have someone else set that up. Because what's going to happen is if you're playing, they're gonna send out a Steel type, right? And your Horn Leech won't do a lot of damage. Toxic won't affect it. And then, I mean, there's a lot of Steel flying types now, right? Skarmory and Corviknight, those are like pretty competitive, at least they have been in my matches, right? So like, you're gonna get Brave Bird into Oblivion, or like Heatran. I know Heatran's been like competitive. I would say like spread this stuff out, and then at least have something that could counter something that would wall you. That would be the only thing I would say. So maybe just get rid of the Grassy Surge.
But other than that, that is another tank I do not want to go up against. Jesus.
Yeah, seriously. It's so. That's like one of the reasons why I first liked Gogoat, because it had such strong HP and defenses. I would say though, like, the thing is though, what stinks about Gen 8, and that's kind of why I stopped playing competitive, is that the matches are only 20 minutes long. So like Toxic Stall and stuff, like you can't really rely on that. At least I stopped playing that way, which was, I think, their intent.
Well, for me, this was also not only just for competitive, but this is also for just single player as well. Because imagine taking this through, say, the Pokemon League.
Yeah.
You know, that
Leon has not a chance.
Yeah, I don't think I can add anything more to what the guys have said. I mean, like Dusty said, I mean, some great sets here, and you know, it is always fun seeing everyone's take. So
Gogoat is really weird because it doesn't have a huge variety of moves. A lot of the moves are just like grass type attacks or like your generic healing moves. So it's really not like, it doesn't have that much variety, but I am seeing here it does have some really key type coverage moves, and that's where you see Superpower, Wild Charge, Horn Leech. I also noticed it had moves like Surf. It can learn Brick Break. It can learn Iron Tail. I did not choose Iron Tail because of the low accuracy. I also did make a couple other variations of a different Gogoat. This Gogoat is, again, you would want to run it in grassy terrain, so it's got the grassy pelt, but it's really like it's like a heal. It's more, it leans into the healing, so it has Horn Leech, Milk Drink, and then depending if you want to make it special or physical, it could have Surf or Earthquake, and then again I gave it the Facade.
Like another build in mind was a full-on special attack Gogoat, but like its move pool for that was kind of lackluster.
Well, yeah.
But like I said, when I was looking at some of the physical moves, when I was originally going physical attack on that, Rock Slide was on the radar. Horn Leech was definitely on the list. But the one that caught my eye, and I'm like, that gives me perfect coverage. Zen Headbutt.
Yeah.
Zen Headbutt would deal with a lot of the poison types, but at that point I would have leaned into attack and speed to try and bolster that.
Yeah. I was gonna pick a Zen Headbutt as well, but then I thought, you know, its secondary effect is flinching, and like Gogoat is not going to be faster than anything. So, but it's a powerful move as is.
Yeah.
Those are really cool sets. This is fun.
So Dusty, you came up with some ideas about what we would have seen potentially in Gen 9 version of Gogoat with moves that we might have seen from Gen 8 as well. So I'm kind of curious to see what you've got in your back pocket there.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's, I think, plenty of moves that Gogoat should get access to, but doesn't have access to. I mean, off the top of my head, there's a lot of horn moves that it does not get access to. I mean, come on, Mega Horn? It's Gogoat. It should have Mega Horn right off the bat. Even though it's a bug-type move, I think that's something that it should, like, easily get access to. And with a new gen, it's like what we typically see is new ways for Pokemon to get new moves, right? Or moves that have already existed. Other than that, if we're looking at Generation 8 moves, I'm just gonna, I've gone through the list, but there is a huge list here. I didn't write down specific moves. There's a lot of moves that were introduced in Gen 8 that were like signature moves that I think Gogoat could get now that it's going to be in Gen 9. I think right off the bat, Body Press is something that's a fighting type coverage, and that also has like special variables, change how effective Body Press really is. But as is, I mean, 80 damage as a fighting move is good with 100% accuracy, and there's no kickback like Superpower. So I think that would be a really cool move for it to get. I mean, there's like moves like Chloroblast, which I could see it getting, but that's a special type grass type move. I don't think that would really benefit Gogoat unless you wanted to run something special. But that is something.
Can I just say what a crime it is that it doesn't have Drop Kick?
Yeah, dude, seriously, yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's Serena's signature. I think I agree with you. Yeah. You get behind a goat, it's going to kick you in the face.
True.
Yeah, I know. I felt that once.
There's, so here's a move. I think this is Behemoth Bash, which I think is Zamazenta.
Yeah, that's Zamazenta.
But,
yeah, that's his.
But dude, I mean, it's a goat, dude. It rams into you, 100 damage steel type move. I think it could easily get that move.
I have firsthand knowledge of how that feels.
And then we also have Glacial Lance is kind of interesting. I mean, it doesn't actually have a lance, but when I think of Gogoat, I do think of a like a horse, like a noble steed charging into battle. I know this is, it's kind of a stretch there, but it would be a really powerful ice type move. I think 100% Gogoat needs to get Grassy Glide. I would put money on Gogoat getting Grassy Glide. I think that could definitely be something. And it would also, I mean, it already has an ability that benefits itself in grassy terrain. It would just be like a slightly weaker version or less usable version of Rillaboom, really. All it would need is the ability that sets up grassy terrain.
I think
That'd be kind of interesting if it got access to like a new ability. Another move, Headlong Rush, right? I mean, that sounds like a Gogoat move. That's 100 base power. It's a ground type move. There's no kickback. I guess no, 100% accuracy, but the kickback is that it lowers defense. Then we also have Meteor Assault. That's a fighting type move. Hyper Beam, but physical.
I'm actually looking through some of the move pools here. This one's legitimate. This one really kind of irks me a little bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't get Screech or some kind of move like that because...
It lowers defense?
Well, goats scream.
Yeah. That was a meme. That was a meme like a year ago.
Yeah.
Goats can scream, and they scream rather disturbingly.
Yeah.
And so the fact that it doesn't have Screech or any kind of scream type move in its pool at the moment.
Voice. Oh my God,
I'm looking forward to checking out what its move pool is going to be.
Yeah.
Hyper Voice, let's go.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know how great that would be on Gogoat, but yeah, Hyper Voice is a great move. Yeah.
Bounce is on it. Bounce would be a great move on that one too.
I think it might get Bounce.
It does.
Okay. So then there's also Psy Shield Bash, right? Any sort of bashing move, I'm like, Gogoat would be perfect for that. So that's another really powerful psychic type move.
Stomping Tantrum.
Yeah.
It will learn Stomping Tantrum through Ultra Sun Ultra Moon Move Tutor.
Or Thunderous Kick, right? That's what
there you go.
Zapdos gets.
Yeah.
I could see it getting Victory Dance. I could also see it getting Wicked Blow. That's a physical dark type move that does 80 damage. Really, any of these. Oh, actually, there was one more that I thought was kind of funny. Mountain Gale. So that's the signature move of Avalugg, or of Hisuian Avalugg, and the new in Legends of Arceus. But I mean, it's a goat. It's a mountain goat, right? I think that'd be so cool for it to get that move. It's a physical ice type move. Kind of a stretch, but I still think it's pretty cool. I don't think Gogoat will get access to all of these, but it's exciting to think that, this thing has been shunned since 2017?
Yeah, it's been a while. Can I just say I love the idea of Gogoat getting access to Glacial Lance, or Icy Lance, whatever it's called. If nothing else, then to pay homage to how the player could ride Gogoat in the city.
Yes, yeah, that's a great idea. That's awesome. It is kind of a stretch, but like I said, I look at Gogoat, I think of a noble steed. I just think of like scenes of House of the Dragon,
Oh yeah, I mean Gogoat is no dragon, but he's pretty close.
Yeah.
He's not bad. Sorry, I know I'm gonna get hate for that one, but I didn't care.
Yeah,
it was funny.
Right, guys. I think it's my time to leave, eh?
And with that, everybody, brings our episode to a close. What did you think about our ideas with Gogoat? What ideas do you guys have? What would you like to see as far as competitive play or even casual play? Also, I want to take a moment to thank Dusty for joining us once again.
Happy to be here, guys.
Always a pleasure, my man. Always a pleasure. And with that, hope everyone has a great day. Bye.
See ya.
Ciao.
See ya.